How's it going, YouTube? This is going to be my video on the Sig Sauer P239 9mm, which also comes in at 40 Smith & Wesson and a 357 Sig. This is going to be my first review, so any positive feedback or constructive criticism is greatly appreciated. I know there's going to be some of those trolls giving negative feedback, but the more the better. Even if it's negative, I'll just brush it off my shoulders. I'm going to start off this video by doing a safety check. Nothing in the chamber, nothing in the magazine well. Some people might say that's backwards, but you know, there's nothing. So we're going to start off by talking about how well it's built. If anybody knows anything about Sig Sauer, they are not cheap. This gun is pretty expensive. When it first came out, still pretty expensive to buy. More expensive than a Glock, more expensive than some of the Smith & Wessons I've seen. That's because it's well built. Built strong, reliable, accurate, you know. And this one in specific is easy to carry because it's the smaller version of the 229 and the 226. So, you know, if you're looking at the 239 and the 229 or the 226, and you're worried about the size, whether it's going to be easy to conceal, I'm going to say to get the 239. When I had the 229, it was very, very hard to conceal outside the waistband, which some people just don't like the feeling of a gun inside the waistband. So go ahead and get yourself a 239, or you can go Glock and go to the 26, and that thing has great holster selection. So, you know, if you like Glocks, go ahead and get a Glock. I like Sig Sauer, so I got me a Sig Sauer. Like I was talking about the accuracy, it is a double and single action trigger. So the first shot is a double action, which is, it makes you, you know, the accuracy, once you get used to it, you'll be accurate with it. After the first shot, it goes to a single action, and that's where all the accuracy comes into play. You get used to this, and it feels like a drop of the finger. Don't even feel like it. So all you gotta do is aim, really press the trigger, and you're good. So the accuracy, to me, really well. I'm not the greatest shot, but I can hit targets, so that's all that matters, right? The reliability, I haven't had any issues with feeding. I had a few issues with ejecting, but that might have been because it hasn't been cleaned, so I cleaned it. Haven't tried it since, so I'm going to shoot that tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know. I guess, you know, those are pretty much all about the weapon. Easy to take down also. The biggest con to me is the rubber stocks, or the original stocks. These stocks right here are the original ones. They're really narrow, and they easily fit in your hand, but it doesn't feel like anything's in your hand. And at that point, when you're shooting, they slide down. There's nothing to hold your fingers other than your hands gripping death grips. So what I initially did was got this rubber grip, added it, and you know, it was great for shooting. That really helped. Other than when it would slide down and you're ready to reload, my pinky got caught in there, and I slammed one of the magazines in, and that's what happened. It's about 15 days ago. Worst thing ever. Hasn't gone away. It's real ugly. So I switched to the Hogue rubber grips. Really easy to install. I'll do an installation video later. Takes about 5 minutes, if that. If, you know, the hardest part was getting it under the cocker lever, which it wasn't really that hard, but it was the hardest part. Once you have those, this gun, this is definitely my favorite gun, and I have 2 or 3. This thing, once those are in, gun does not move. You can yank and pull out of your hand. It ain't gonna move. This, I guarantee you, it'll slip out of your hand if you're not holding it with a death grip. The other thing is the magazines. I know why Sig Sauer had to go to single stack, because they want to make this slimmer. But, you know, only 8 rounds. I've seen single stack with 10. Why not make 10? Well, guess what they did? They got these little extended pieces, and gives you 2 extra rounds. But those are like 20 or 30 bucks. So what I did was just bought an extra mag, 8 rounds, better than 4 rounds. So I'd rather carry 25 rounds, 24 in the clip or the magazines, one in the chamber, better than 21. So the price of getting another magazine was well worth it. If I need more than 25, I'm definitely not where I should be. If I'm even using a magazine, I guess I should not where I'm supposed to be. So I always do keep 3 magazines, one in the magazine well and 2 on my side. The other bad thing about this gun is the holster selection. If you want a Kydex or a fitted holster, you got to order it online. Some of them take 3 to 4 weeks. I don't have that long to wait to put it on my side, and I want to carry it if I bought it. So I bought a cheap Uncle Mike holster, really cheap, so that's why I didn't include it. I was a little embarrassed about it. It's a little nylon holster. It keeps me at bay until I can get that holster mailed in here. I got about another week or so until it shows up. Other than that, the only other issues are the hammer and the weight of the gun, which sometimes the weight of the gun isn't really a bad thing. The hammer is pretty huge though. When it's on your side, that digs into you, especially in the car. So, I wish the hammer was a little bit smaller. That's why I love Glocks also, because they don't have a hammer. They have a striker pin, so, they don't have to worry about this digging into you. But, I'll live with it. Done and done. The weight of the gun is about 30 ounces without the magazine in it. It is heavier than a Glock, but it also keeps the recoil down. So, there's pros and cons on the weight. I don't mind it. Still easy to carry, barely feel it on my hip. Never had a problem with the weight. But I guess if I went from a really light weapon to this weapon, it would really throw me off. But not too much. I get used to it again, especially since I love Sig Sauers. Other than that, the other thing is, there's no safety on this weapon. The only safety is the cocker lever to make sure the hammer's dropped safely, and the 10-power trigger pull. That's enough safety for me, as I have a little bit of experience, but as someone who's coming from a new shooter, I would try to get you to go to something that has safety, such as a Taurus, not even a Glock, because all they have is the trigger safety, which is, if you have something and it's pushing bolts, nothing's going to stop it. So get something that has a physical safety that you have to actually slide down or slide up. That's only if you're a new shooter. If you're an experienced shooter, not having a physical safety, but only having a 10-pound trigger, that's okay to me. If you're not comfortable with having no safety, don't buy a Sig Sauer, and don't buy Glocks. You buy something that has 1911s, have that safety. Well, some of them. This gun is really easy to take down. You just lock it back, turn the takedown lever, then hit the side release while holding the weapon, and that's it. All you have to do is take out the spring and the barrel and do a little field strip and cleaning, and you're good. To install it, put the spring and the barrel back in, slide it back in. As you can see, there's full slide rails. That's what makes this gun so accurate. Just lock it back up, turn the takedown lever back, and just do a little check. Go ahead and do a dry fire check while holding it. Take it back and see if it resets. If it resets, you're good. Go ahead and dry fire it again, and you're good. That gun is one of the simplest guns, and it's one of the easiest guns to shoot that I've dealt with. Haven't had any issues, like I said. Other than that, you guys have a nice day, and I hope you liked my video. If not, I guess you didn't like it.